Alright, so I figured it was finally time to start getting my pedal board sort of back in order, and a lot of it started with the TC Electronics Plethora X5. So this is going to be kind of a overview and why I like this and it works for me, and I plan to continue using it as part of my rig. I was a little nervous when TC announced they were going to have a new product unveiled today, and it turned out to just be kind of like a delay thing, which I haven't watched any of the videos for it yet, but I wonder if it's not anything I can't just pull off with this. So for those that aren't familiar with what the Plethora is, it's a whole series of tone print pedals that TC had been making with some really cool features. I was already a fan of those. And then they were like, we're putting out the X5, and it has 5 slots where you can populate it with any of those family of pedals, and in some cases as many as you can. Now, it does have some DSP limitations, which means that some of the heavier effects that are, like pitch shifting and stuff that is really, really heavy kind of stuff, like you'd only fit maybe 2 or 3. But I'll show examples of that down the road. For right now, I just, overview. This patch right here is called Organ Grinder. It's one of the included patches that was in it, anyway, when I got it in, like, late 2020, I believe, was the thing. And, this product kind of came out at a weird time where pandemic was keeping a lot of people from playing live, and this was such a great utility for being able to perform live. So I'm still a fan of it, though. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the effects that are available. So in each of these 5 slots, like right now, it's trying to figure out what I want in the first slot. So we have the chorus, unfortunately named the Corona chorus, it just kind of happened there. Then we have the hypergravity compressor, the flashback 2 delay, the mimic doubler. I've got an interesting video planned for that. Vortex flanger, quintessence harmony, the tape deck looper, Century noise gate, sub and up octaver, phaser, helix phaser anyway. That one was one that was added in later in one of the last couple updates, and it's been pretty cool. Brainwaves pitch shifter, Hall of Fame 2 reverb, pipeline tap tremolo. I think that one was part of it, and then maybe it was the vicious vibe, or it was one of these was added in. So pipeline tap tremolo, vicious vibe, shaker vibrato, alter ego vintage echo. That one was in one of the more recent updates too. Then you have I guess where you can just have a spot empty, although I always put stuff in there. Insert effects loop. That's cool that it's included there, but it's not something that I ever do. It's like if you had things in the effects loop, a bunch of things on, you could hit that button and run to those things. But again, that's not something that I've ever really needed. One of the new features with the most recent update was this tap tuner that they added, and that's been a pretty cool thing. I haven't got to put my whole pedal board back together to really use it, but I already have some ideas. And then you have like the settings menu. So before I get into that, let's see how much stuff we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 different effects, all at a minimum of, say, $100. Some of them as high as 2. I don't think any of them are as much as 3. But at the price of 2 or 3 of those pedals, you can have all of them, as many as you want. So, I mean, it's really unbeatable when you consider that. Most of those pedals, too, are going to have 3 parameters you can adjust, and then, like, some different settings. So, for instance, let's see, this is the octave. There it is. Didn't want to mess up my settings. So, in this first spot right here, you've got your dry signal you can adjust. Then your sub, which would be the low octave, and the up, which would be the high octave. And then you've got a few of the settings that you would have right here on the side, and then down below it, I've got some different tone prints that I've downloaded from the app. I've got quite a few. I don't use them all, but they're cool to have, and I'll show why it's cool to have that in one of my later videos. But that's just the settings that you have in this one slot right here, and obviously each of the knobs above it makes the adjustments there. But then I go to the second pedal, same thing. Now I'm adjusting the chorus, speed, effects level, got all its tone prints, vibratos in that spot, and I'll show you something cool I can do as well. So all these, this is one that I made right there, and it's in there with its name and my initials and everything. Flanger, same thing, and reverb. Reverb got the same thing going on. So let me go ahead and just get to the settings. There's so many things I want to talk about. So within the settings, you have global, which would affect all 127 boards, or you have board right there, which would be like each of the individual boards and what's going on there. So in global, under Bluetooth, that's where you would use this to connect to the app, either on your phone, tablet. I'm pretty sure you can do it from your computer too. Then you get product settings, so some of the bypass stuff, whether it's buffered or not buffered. Cab simulation, so I'm using the Simplifier again with this, because it's perfect for working together with this. I know someone else that does the same thing and actually asked his opinion about the Simplifier before I went out and got the MK2. He's got the original version, but I've got the most recent. So this cab simulation part right here, I could, in theory, do away without this. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, that last one's a bass cab. There used to only be one, and I don't remember which one it was. And it's cool that it's on here, but there's no adjustment to it, which you have loads of adjustment on the Simplifier. So I'd rather just go that way for my own setup. Let's see. Quick swap, that's where if you hit two pedals and hold them down, then they'll flip-flop spots, which is kind of cool, but not fun if you do it on accident. Options for how you scroll through the boards. I typically use this little switch right here, but you could use a few different ways, and this is how you would access that. And then for like shortcuts to the tuner and stuff like that, you could come to this spot. In MIDI, you have, I guess, what channel you want the plethora to be. So I have it set to 11. Now that's going to be important like way down the line once I start like getting into MIDI setups and things, but someone that taught me about MIDI uses their plethora for 11, so I just did the same thing so that if I copy notes or anything, it won't be that big a deal. MIDI clock sync, that's a new thing that was just enabled. People have been asking about tap tempo for a while. And then the CC table, this is super cool. It's not like anything you change, but if you're like not sure about one of the things you want to change, for example, let's see, in the looper record, where'd it go? I guess you can't go to it, but I can see right here, the CC 110 would let me control that, and then like 024, that's like if it's on the first pedal, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth. I guess that's as deep as that one goes. Let's see. Yeah, so it's cool that you have a lot of different looper features. I want to put together a looper on here with each of those things on one of the different spots there, so probably something I'll do down the line, but again, different things for the pedals. A lot of these were just added like in the last week, so I haven't had a chance to do those. Display settings is kind of cool. That would be, if it goes left to right or right to left. Left to right is weird, so I probably would go the other way, except that the numbers wouldn't match up then, so just stick with that. Colors, I like the dots over the lines. It's a little easier to see for me. And then tempo you can set to beats per minute or milliseconds, which is, pretty cool as well. That's if you, expression calibration is if you have a expression pedal plugged into it. Restore point, I haven't messed with this either, so this is where you would back it up now. And a few other options here about the specific one. Within the board, though, this is where it gets really cool. So you can set the expression to be a modifier or a volume. The hot knobs would be like each of these three functions, like when you're in a play menu. And I'll show a little bit about that and how I use that. So all three of these are lit up, so I've got all of them activated. The first one, which is right here, would be the dry signal for my octave. What else do I have? Nothing on the first knob, but on the second knob, I've got the depth of the chorus, the depth of the vibrato, and the depth of the flanger all tied to that second knob. And then the third knob, I've got the speed of the chorus, vibrato, and flanger all tied to that. So I'll demonstrate that too. Second knob, let's see. That would be if you have a mash feature, which is pretty cool. That's where like these pedals are pressure sensitive. If you push down on them, then it'll like max out some of the settings, which is pretty cool. Effects loop insert, that's where the effects loop goes. So you'll probably notice I've got a lot of cabling going in. I'm plugging my guitar straight into the input, and then the effects loop send is going to the simplifier first, like the input, coming back out of that after the preamp section into the return of the effects loop, and then I'm coming out the output in stereo back into the simplifier. So again, that's my Telecaster through this board that I've got going on. So what it means right here is that the loop is between the first and the second block, but you can move it wherever in the chain you actually want it to be, which is super cool. Even between the different boards, it doesn't really matter where it is. And then tempo sync, that's a new feature they added. None of these effects use that. It's for like delays. It's delays, the echo, and one of the other ones, like the tap tempo or something, does it too. Let's take a look back out here though, because I'm already going pretty long. Also, I'm aware that the the Plethora probably looks like huge compared to the Simplifier, but just for reference, like here's a regular old Boss pedal, which is the same size as the Simplifier. So this thing, I mean, it's still smaller than 5 pedals and all the cabling and power supply and stuff that you would need to run between them. So just something to consider there. Let's see, back in play mode. You see I've got the octave. Let me hit that mash button. Will that bass come in? And the little circle kind of illuminates there. Chorus, what's it do? I think it's really wavy. Vibrato. Cool. Flanger. Cool. Reverb. You stop the note. Interesting. So again, I can switch these on and off as I want. Now, right now on the Plethora, I have to do them individually, but if I was using MIDI from my HX Stomp or any other controller, you could turn them on 2, 3, 4, all on, all off at the same time, which is really cool. Let me show that knob here. So again, I assigned it to control the dry signal. So that's like all the way dry signal mixed in, and I've got highs and lows around it. That's like nothing, so I've got just low and high. Which this board is called the organ grinder. That really gives it more of a organ sound, because all you're hearing is the affected signal up an octave and down an octave. And that's something I could control with either the expression pedal too, or again through MIDI, which is a really cool thing. And then kind of blend it back in. So again, I can assign this knob to something I control with my foot. Super cool. And then with this knob, I think it controls the depth of these 3. So the chorus, the vibrato, the flanger. Let's hear what happens when I turn it. So that's like maximum depth across all 3 of these. One at a time. Let's see. So that's just the chorus. Not that much on its own. Vibrato. Very subtle. Flanger. That one's a little more obvious. Okay, so let's... yeah, chorus and flanger. Flanger's the wild one there. Those 2 together. Get some reverb. That's a bit extreme. Let's bring it back to something more usable. How's the flanger add in? Let's bring the course out. Also here, let's do something with the simplifier. Let's go from Marshall to Fender. Probably makes more sense. Let's turn the mics to blue, 212. I'm just kind of feeling that more. Probably need to bring the volume up to adjust. There we go. All right. Let's try those two. And now, a whole nother dimension to it. I mean, I could sit here and just go between combinations, but you also have to consider I've got the speed on this last control for all three of those. Let's get them going. It's a little fast for my taste, so let's bring it down. That's cool. Get that octave back in there. Interesting. Kind of balance those out. And I don't have the feedback, ramp, or what was it? Effects level tied to any control there, so they're kind of just set, but I could go into the edit menu and change any of those that I wanted to. Like the ramp on that was at 100, so I can maybe bring it down a little bit. All right, but as you can see, I'm a fan of the Plethora. It's not perfect. There's still a few things that could be changed and made better just by updates alone. I know that people were really hoping to get I think it's called the Infinity Sampler or something like that. It's a new tone print pedal that has not been added just yet, so still crossing our fingers that that'll be here at some point. Let me go ahead and wrap this one up, though. I knew it was going to be hard to keep this video under an hour or something like that. So I definitely plan on making some more videos with this. And just to give you a little bit of a preview of what we'll be covering maybe next year. So that was one of the included boards, but then I have all these different boards that I have made for different projects, different jam types. But one of the coolest things I've made is these different test boards. So like one for chorus, one for compressor, one for delay. See, that one took a second. Flanger, harmony, well, all loopers, mimic. So that one will be interesting. So I've got something cool planned for that. Noise gates, octave, phaser, pitch shifter. So see, I could only squeeze like 2 pitch shifters, and then I figured it'd sound good with a delay, and then just whatever tape deck there. Let me drop something into that spot right there. Let me go ahead and edit. And right there in that last spot, I forgot to do that. There we go. Tap tuner. There we go. So now I can do my tap tempo stuff from here without having to risk accidentally turning on or off this pedal should I not want to. This is definitely not a board that I would be using for performance or anything, so no worries about that. Reverb, tap tremolo, vibrato, vicious vibe, and then some other boards that I've been messing around, or ones that link to specific pedals. But you can see I've gotten crazy. I've got a bunch of different ambient boards in here. How many do I have? 13 different ambient boards in here. So again, if I don't stop myself, I'll just keep going with these. But I hope that you guys have enjoyed this, and maybe this has been helpful in just seeing how this is used. I was really only playing with that one setting there, but I have a ton. I won't use the pun plethora of different video ideas for this, but you get the point. Anyway, hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you soon.